Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make a flared skirt. Okay, this is easier to make than a mini because you don't have to sew your darts in. Okay, but you do have to put a zip in it. Okay, now you can make this in any length. You can make it as a mini skirt, so to have a hem up here. You can make it as a knee length, or you can make it as any length you want. So you just measure how long you want it, and we can just transfer that to the pattern. Okay, so let's get going. So I'm going to use this paper. Use dot and cross paper. Just make sure that you line up your straight seam here. You can see one of the seam is, this is your centre back seam, and this is your side seam. Side seams are always curved, so if you line up your centre back seam along the dot and cross paper, okay, so it's, you know, it's going along one set of dots or set of crosses. And if you're going to lengthen it, make sure you have enough paper to be able to add to the length. Okay, so you're going to just start by drawing sleeves out the way, drawing all the way around. I think this knee length comes actually quite below your knee. I'm going to draw all the way around it. If you're going to make this into a mini skirt, mark off your mini, where your minis are. Put your straight grain in. Put the dart points. Okay. Right, so let's start by filling in some of those lines. We'll draw our darts in. So this is the back, there's 2 darts on the back. And this is our straight grain, which runs parallel to the centre back seam. But it's always good practice to put them in. Right, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take these darts out and add them to the flare of the dress. So I'm going to use my... Basically, you've got to make sure that this is parallel. So whatever measurement that is there. Okay, whatever measurement that is there, that's just 4.8 we'll put down here as well. 4.8. Okay, and then we're going to mark that in. So that line should be parallel to this seam. Okay, so let's measure that distance now. That's 3.5. Yours are going to be double this, by the way. You can just use your grader if you want, if you can do that. All right. So now, if you want to make this into a longer length, you can do that at this stage now. So I want to make this into an 80. Let's extend this line, the centre back line. Okay, and I'm going to measure 80 along that line. So you just got to imagine I'm adding 80, but I'm actually adding 40 because this is a half size pattern. Okay, so in real life this would be 80. Okay, and now I'm going to use this line here, this vertical line there, and mark it up. That. And then put this in, and that's going to be my length. Okay, that's my new length. I'll bring these lines down. So if you're making a short skirt, you don't have to do this, you just cut it off down here. Okay, so if you're making the mini skirt, you're going to do that from here. Okay, forget about this bit. So if you're making the mini, if you put your line in here now, and just, you don't have to do any of that. Okay, you're just working from here. So I think now I will put a seam allowance in the back seam. So we've got 1.5 on the back seam. Oh, actually, no, we don't have one. We've got, yeah, we do, yeah. So 1.5, because we're going to put our zip in it. Okay. 1 centimetre the top. And we're not going to put our seam allowances on the back or the hem yet, because we're going to extend those. Okay, so now I'm going to cut that out. This is for the long skirt, okay? If you're going to make a short skirt, you're going to cut along there. Seam allowance. And then your back seam allowance, which is 1.5 centimetres. Your seam allowances will look different on yours because your pattern is twice as big as mine. Just for clarity, I'm going to cross hatch these seam allowances so you can see what seam allowance. And basically, when you're sewing something, this is the sew line and this is the cut line where you're going to cut your fabric. Okay, so as I say, if you're doing the mini, this version of a mini or a crossover skirt, you need to cut down there. Now what we're going to do is cut from the hem along this line. Right to the dart point, okay? Now we need some more paper. And I think I'll get some brown paper so that you can see what I'm doing. Any brown paper, so I will show you as best I can with white paper. So basically I'm going to snip down one side of the dart, just one side. Okay, and now I need some tape. And what I'm going to do is close that dart. And you see when you close the dart, it opens up. It does two things. It opens up this side, the fabric here, so you've got more fabric, and also curves this waistline. Okay, and all that. So you've basically transferred the dart to the waistline and to the hem. Okay. So we've sort of made it flared just by closing those darts at the back. But if you want to make it a little bit more flared than that, you can add something to the side seam here as well. Okay. So I'm going to get some more paper. I tried to get brown paper so you could see a bit better, but it seems to run out. Put my centre back seam there. I think you can see this. I'm just going to use my tape and tape that in place. Tape all down there if you want. If you've got a Pritt stick, just glue it on. Okay, just going to draw in that seam, you can just see it. Just to give us a bit. Okay, now I'm going to extend this a little bit so we've got just even more width on it. So what I'm going to do with this, my grader, from the hook line there, if you want to bring it out another 4 centimetres, okay, so I've marked 2, I'm going to just mark 2 there, you might mark 4 on yours, and if we mark a line in, okay, so we've got extra width here, here, and here, so that's giving you the flare. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is draw this, see, the hem. Now the hem, you see, is not straight, it's curved now. Okay, so we need to add a very small seam allowance to the hem. That's because when you've got a curved seam, it's really hard to you can't really put a big seam allowance on it. You just got to have a tiny one. So I'm just putting the centimetre seam allowance on. Okay, this is going to look bigger on mine obviously, but it's going to look tiny on yours. And that's your seam allowance. Okay. If you've got a mini, you're going to be cutting down there and putting a seam allowance on that, on this one. Okay. And here we're getting to the bend. And there you go. Right, so there I will put to the back. I'm going to put it out now and do exactly the same to the front, except for the front. We've only got the one seam allowance, so we have to do extra things to it to give it as much width as the back, because you don't want all the width in the back. Okay, so let's mark that up. That's your centre back seam. If you want to write centre back seam or CB, it's up to you. Just whatever helps you. Remember, seam, CB. There's your side seam, or SS. 1 centimetre seam allowance on your hem, 1 centimetre seam allowance on your waist, and you're going to just write what it is now. So it's flared skirt, and this is a maxi. It is a size 16. It is your back, and you need to cut 2, and it's a metre. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to do the front. I am running out of paper. Quite a bit as well. Okay, so here's the front of the skirt. So I'm just going to make sure I leave enough paper over this side and all around to add my seam allowances. I'm going to go around it with a pencil, pen. You'd use a pencil in case you make a mistake. Okay. Oh, hang on. Don't forget to put your dart point on. Okay. You've done that. Put in your marky dart. Okay, so how far is that away from? So that's 9.5. So 9.5 down here at the bottom. Okay, so this has got to be 80. This to match with the front one. That's my tape measure. This. Okay, so measure 80 down there. I've got 40 for anyone with eagle eyes because I'm using a half size block. I'm going to use my grader to line that up with my centre fold. And there we go. So here's your side seam, centre front, which is cut to the fold. So therefore doesn't need a seam allowance. Okay. But, so that we're not going to put any seam allowance on this until we've done the next bit. So I'm going to cut that all out. I've run out of paper, so I'm just using wrapping paper for this down there. Just going to totally cut it out without any seam allowances on it for now. Okay, now I'm going to slash up that line. Right to the dart point, which is there, that dart point. And then I'm going to just get a bit of tape and close that dart. So you can either slash it or just fold it over. It's a bit tricky on the little fat one. close that dot. And that means you don't have to sew it. So we've only got one dart to open on the front, so what we're going to do is we're going to add, I'll put it on a bit of brown paper so you can see what I'm doing. Right, let's tape that in place. Just closing that dart's given us quite a bit of flare. Makes it a bit easier to see the...
Oh, well, you get a red one tomorrow.
As I say, you can use a Pritt stick this time if you want, okay? So let's start putting a few more flares in. If we get the front bit, let's see how much that is. Because we want the front and back to be pretty similar. Let's see what that is. That is 29 centimetres. What's this? That is 20 centimetres. So basically, and this is half sizes. So basically we need to put 4.5 one side and 4.5 the other. I'll be double that with yours. Okay, so I'm going to do 4.5 here and 4.5 here. Okay. Now this side we've got our seam, so we're going to flare out from this hip point here. Okay. So here we're going to flare out right from the top, which is this is our centre front. Okay, so we're going to flare this right out from the top. Okay, and now we've got our hem. I'm going to curve that hem. So let's see what this measures now. That should measure 80 centimetres for you if you're doing a long one. For me, 40. Yeah, just on. This new curved seam in. Okay, and there we go. So we've added 4.5 to here and 4.5 to here, and that's given us the same width as the back. I'm going to cut that out now. Oh, hang on, I forgot to add seam allowance. Sorry, we need to add seam allowance to that. So I've glued this to some paper, okay, just so you can see some brown paper. What I'm doing, Now the next step is to get the back, which you want to be the same size as your front. And you're going to measure, not the seam allowances, just the hem, but to your seam allowances. And this is 20, 25 and a half. Okay, 25 and a half. That's without the seam allowances. Now yours will be something more like 50 because this is a half size pattern. Okay, but the point is we've got to get these the same. So let's measure from here. This hasn't got any seam allowances on it yet, to there. And it's 20 and a half actually. So that's 4 centimetres difference. Okay. So this one was 25 and a half. That was the front. And then the back, sorry. And the front was 20 and a half. That is front. Okay, so 25 and a half minus 20 and a half equals 4. So we've got to get 4 on this to make it the same. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll put 2 on this side, 2 over here, and 2 over here on the front seam. This is your centre front seam, CF, and your side seam. What I'm going to do is just going to mark out, extrapolate that line, and that line. I'm going to mark 2 centimetres there, and 2 centimetres here. Okay, now from the side seam, I'm just going to come out from this hip line here. Okay, so that's our new side seam with our extra width. Now from the centre front, I'm going to come out right from the top, okay, right down to this mark. This is our new centre front, which by the way does not have seam allowances, cut on fold. So now all we have to do is add the seam allowances to that. Let's just draw that new there you go. There's the new seam. That's the bottom hem. So we're going to add a centimetre seam allowance to the bottom hem. Okay, nothing to here because that's the centre fold. I'm going to add a centimetre to this, so we'll just use that until we get up to that's going to be straight until we get to the hip line, then it's going to curve, so then we need to start pivoting. Okay. And then lastly, we're going to put our seam allowance at our waist, which is also curved. Okay. Now I'm going to cut that out. Oh. Almost cut there. Got to cut the seam allowance out then. this is our seam allowance here. Okay, now we're going to put a new grain line in because this dress falls better if the centre front is on a fold, is on the grain. So I'm going to change the grain line to be parallel with the front. Can you see the way I've done that? So put your grader on there and let's put our new grain line on. Okay, and that's really important. SG. Okay, so this is your flared skirt, size 16, front, cut 1, and Anita. So don't forget to put all of that rotation on. And last but not least, you've got to get all your pattern pieces together. Okay, so you have to see the other video for the how to make the facing. I've got a separate video. So you need to label them as well. So you've got 4 pieces. So this is going to be 1 of 4, 2 of 4. You've got your face in here with a mini. That's going to be, and that's going to be 3 of 4. And then there's another bit somewhere that I can't find at the moment, and that's 4 of 4. Okay, so that's what you should have if you're going to do. Obviously, that's for a long flared skirt. You can just cut that along there to have a mini, or down here. You know, you don't have to do all of this. If you're going to have a mini, you just work from this measurement here. Okay.